All right. All right. All right. Let's get it. Man, couple things today that I saw that we're going to talk about. Not a couple things. This actually, I remember whatever day that was. Sunday? Was it Sunday? I don't think I broadcast yesterday. Or did I broadcast yesterday? I don't. Um, I made a statement about I wrote some things down and I wasn't I didn't remember. Well, lo and behold, what's up, Kentucky Craze? Appreciate you chiming in, brother. I don't even know if you're a brother. Thank you for chiming in, individual. um, I want to expound on something that I talked about weeks ago, and about the kid that went to Alabama, um, basketball player that a lot of people got up in arms with, and I get it. And like I said then, I didn't have a problem with it. And after I broadcast, I thought about it even more. And this is why perception and perspective are huge. What's up, John? Guys, go oh, I appreciate that, John. DJ on a Tuesday night? That must be a church outing, John. DJ on a Tuesday? Who having a party on a Tuesday? Can't be a wedding. Can't be a party. What, you DJing a basketball game? I can see that. I appreciate you, John. So here's why perception perspective is so different. I play on a football team with a guy named Matt Hobby. R.I.P. to Matt. He was a baseball player, and in baseball, you can play in the minor leagues, where the Cape Cods, whatever the leagues they have, and still play a college sport. In essence, honestly, my favorite sport, you can be a track athlete, run the Olympics, and still be in college. In the Olympics, it's it is ridiculous how track and field, the lines are blurred between high school athletes, college athletes, professional athletes. Now you have gymnasts who perform in Olympics and still go to college. So, in my opinion, for people to be so up in arms, because here's the deal, this is why it's a problem. It's because there are no rules. So for a kid, it's the same way of the transfer portal. If a kid makes a mistake, I guess in football and basketball, you have no outlet. So for me, if you don't play, like I said, if you don't play in a professional football game, I think you're all good. If your eligibility, and I'm gonna say this, I think you gotta do it before the age of 25. So for me, baseball players do it all the time. Hell, like on the locker, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be tomorrow. Myself and Anthony White, we played with a guy who was a service member, Frank Crossman, and he came back at like 27 and played college football. So it's not an age thing, it's a perception thing. And just because he declared for the draft, got drafted late, but didn't play, I think he's still eligible if he's within the age range to come back and play college basketball. I don't understand. I truly don't understand how that is a problem when baseball players do it all the time. So for me, I understand their perception is it doesn't happen in basketball. The history says that once you declare, you're done. That doesn't mean things can't change and rules can't change. So for me, honestly, some reason I had a little cramp. So for me, I don't have a problem with it. And the flip side is I can see why it's a problem, but I don't think it's a problem. How will the Wildcats be contenders? How will the Wildcats be contenders? I guess that's college football again. It depends on what's your definition of contender. In college football now, you have to have a not a star quarterback. You have to have a really good quarterback. Going 500. So that's 6-6. If that's your definition of contender, then I think it can possibly happen next year if things go right. Because here's the thing about sports, and it happens more in high school sports than others, is your talent level matters. Your cohesiveness and the level of talent you have on your team and the production coming back the next year is important. But you also got to look at the other teams. Are they having some of the issues that we're having? Like Ty Simpson leaving Alabama. Now, I know they got a pretty good quarterback in the stable, but problem. Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss can be an issue. Tennessee's quarterback issue. Like Auburn has a new coach. Like there are other teams that are going through issues the same way we are. Now, are we able to combat those issues better than other teams? Probably not. But when you have a new coaching staff with no history in the conference, you have a kind of an advantage because no one has any film on you. I don't care where you coached previously, it's not the same. The way Will Stein called games at Oregon was probably different than the way he called games at Texas San Antonio, which is going to be different than call games at Kentucky, based on talent level and based on the opponents that he's going to face week to week. So if you're going to look at the Oregon film and say, oh, why don't we do that? There might be a reason. Coach put together a solid team on paper, excited for football. I'm not sure he put a solid team on paper. And here's the reason why. Because we know nothing about the majority of the players that are on this team. A lot of these guys have been backups. A lot of these guys don't have relevant production. I hope they can come here, and I hope this offensive staff can elevate their floor and they can be close to reaching their ceiling. We will see. Anything can happen. Like I'm not saying we're gonna go 12-0. Not even gonna say we're gonna go 8-4. But 5, 6, 7 is doable. It's just very hard to get to 7. It's very hard to get to 7 now. This is why it's very hard to get to 7. And I want people to truly understand this. It got hard. So now you only have 2 non-conference. Pretty much, I'm not gonna say guaranteed wins, but pretty much wins that you can say I feel good about, right? So yeah, your 2 non-conference games. Then you have Louisville. So you got 2 wins. So now, if you're betting on Louisville, you got to win 4 to get to 7. How many times have we won 4 games in conference in the history of Kentucky football? So 4 and 5, because since you're playing 9 games, is what we have to get to if we win those 3 non-conference games. And one of them is Louisville. If you win 2, now you got to win 5 in conference. How many times have we won 5 games? On top of that, how many times have we finished above 500? Because to win 5, you got to go 5 and 4, which means you're above 500 in conference, which doesn't happen often. So getting to 7 has become increasingly hard. Doesn't make it impossible, just makes it harder. Getting to 9 regular season wins is extremely difficult now. Because now you got to win 6 conference games. If you win your 3-9, you got to get to 6. We have, I would say this, since we have gone to whatever, how many games, but we gone to 8 conference games, we have not won 6 before. So we'll see. 7, I think, is a goal this season. If he wins, look, dude, who's that? Who's saying it? Mr. Pollard. If he wins 7, this year, that is more than a successful year. So that means he has probably won 4 conference games. That's very good. It's if y'all can put together Maxwell Harrison level players to compete. All right, Jordan. Here's the thing about Max. Max really only had 1 year. His senior year, he was hurt. The year before, a lot of fans was pissed off about him because he gave up the touchdown to Vandy. He was put in a bad situation that year. But I think we need to go a level above Max. In college, we need consistency in college. We need more of a, if you're going to go DB, you need more of a Mike Edwards or a Derek Beatty, defensive back wise. Or you need more of a DeAndre Square, talking about defense. You need more of a, now Josh Allen really had 2 years. Maybe Josh Pascal, like that. If we're talking about level players, because we need people who develop and compete. Like I said, Maxwell had that 1 year, and that's all it takes sometimes. I think he had a chance to break out the next year, but he got hurt. I don't think that's true, Jordan, that no one stays at one program anymore. Um, I think Garrett Nussmeier, LSU quarterback, stayed 5+ years. Did he stay 6? I know he stayed 5. That's not true. Chris Hilton Jr. stayed at LSU his whole time. And I know these LSU players because obviously I'm a in-state guy. So that's not, it's heightened for the ones who move, but you think of there's 105 kids on every team and not everybody's moved. I mean, if you think about it, this year Kentucky team, 50+ kids stayed. So I understand where you're coming from. I think it's not as much as you think. What I talked about the baseball. Here's the thing. Philip Rivers, man. I wrote this down. This is obviously weeks ago. Philip Rivers has had an unbelievable last, let's say 3 to 4 months. This guy's coaching high school football, gets to play, gets called up and play professional football after being out for a couple years. There's 2 great things that happened to Philip Rivers besides playing. If you don't know, in the NFL, I think it's 5 years. I think you have 5 years from when your last game played that you stay on the NFL health plan. I think it's 5 years. Philip Rivers was out, if it was 5, he was like a week away from that insurance policy lapsing, and he would have to go and buy another insurance policy. He plays in the one game that extends it for another 5 years. Do you know how many kids Philip Rivers has? So now his health care is paid for. It's paid for the next 5 years. What a blessing. What a blessing for him to be available and for him to be able to contribute. And now he's got 5 years of not having to worry about that on his back. Second thing. So he comes back. I'm sure his introduction to the locker room, his ability to assimilate to what was going on to a team that probably had a great chance at least going to the AFC Championship game. And to not miss a beat and to keep those players believing that they potentially had a chance to get into the playoffs. All that got him an interview. Now here's the thing that is missing from the interview. Philip Rivers had I had as much of a chance as Philip Rivers to be a head coach in NFL. Philip Rivers, I'm going to say, had 0.01% chance of getting to the NFL as a head coach. However, being able to go through the interview process is immeasurable. You can't put a number on how important it was for Philip Rivers or anyone to go through an interview process, which if he hasn't, you go into that process in the dark. You can talk to somebody who can give you some pointers, give you an idea. They can even give you a mock interview, but there's nothing like going through the interview process with a owner, with a GM, if they have a president, if they have a board, whatever they have, to be able to go through that process is invaluable. You can't put a number on that process when he knew damn well he had no chance. So now here's the thing. When he gets a chance, he has such an advantage for a real interview with a real chance of being a head coach. Because now he knows how to organize his plan. What are they looking for? Are they looking for whom you have slotted for your coordinators? Do they want to know whom your strength and conditioning coach is going to be? Do they want to know what your weekly plan? Do they want to know how you're going to deal with GM and drafting players for the next year? Or are you going to be integral in calling plays, or you're going to be a CEO and you're going to let guys coach? Like all of those things now, he know how to prepare himself for an interview. And I'm going to say this, Black History Month, that's why a lot of black coaches are pissed, because a lot of black coaches are not given that opportunity to go through the interviewing process. It's like, as us commoners, when you go interview for a company, now I haven't interviewed many times because I've had my own company for almost my whole career. But when you go through that process, like for me meeting clients, the first one, I was fortunate because I already had a client. I was already a contractor, and I said, I'm going to go on my own and all that. So that was my Philip Rivers. But when you have your first interview, you learn a lot about yourself in the interviewing process. So when you get another interview, you're probably going to be more prepared, better prepared, and more able to answer certain questions better than you answered your first time. And the more interviews you go through, the better you get because you've seen it all. So Phillip Rivers doing that, man, he is going to be at least a college head coach soon. And he's more prepared to be able to interview because of that process he just went through. Like I said, there are a lot of black coaches who don't get that chance. Shit, Mike Tomlin was not really even on the radar of the Steelers when he was interviewed. That was an interview because I think of the Rooney Rule. He impressed them so much, they hired him because he was given a chance. So that's all. That interview process, dude, is huge for Rivers, and it's beyond important. So now, the next thing that I tweeted out today, let me see if I can find it because I want to read it word for word because I know what it's about. It's about high school parents and kids and understanding the importance of living in the moment. But I'm gonna read it word for word. And this comes from William Payne. William Payne said, "If I could change one thing about high school athletics, it would be for far more players and parents to enjoy the ride where they are and not focus on college so heavily. If that's meant to be, it will be." Y'all, it is it is something, man. In a little school that I'm at a smaller school, and this is now I'm going to talk about this. It's a smaller school, and this is why I hate that there's no consistency in classes throughout the U.S. We're in class 2A. And when people hear 2A, they think automatically it's a small school. Well, in our state of Louisiana, we have B and C, then 1A, 2A on up. And we go to 5A. So some schools, some states have 6, 7A, and all that stuff. So in essence, our B and C are 1A schools, they just don't have basketball. So in essence, if you really want to talk about it, we are probably really in 4A or at least 3A. Probably more 4A. But put it like this. I have seen it. And I've seen it, and I've only been coaching 5 years. Parents putting pressure on their kid and their kids not enjoying the sport that they are participating in. I've seen it. And high school should be a time of joy. Period. I don't care what anybody says. I know people say college is the best time. For me, high school is easily the best time I think, of any kid's life. You have no responsibilities. You're still living at your parents' home. I'm just thinking this as general. I'm guessing one of your parents is cooking. I'm guessing one of your parents helping you with your laundry. I'm guessing one of your parents is making sure you get up and get to class. I'm just guessing that not everybody is fortunate to have that, but for the majority of us, we do have that. And sports in high school is supposed to be a learning process. It's a developing process. It's becoming a better individual at your sport and learning how to deal with adversity, get through adversity, and playing with your buddies. It's supposed to be a fun time. It's not supposed to be a time where you are worried about, can I get a scholarship? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that way because you're putting so much pressure on your kid. When I played in the late 80s, early 90s, we didn't know, I didn't know any of that shit. I went into my junior year and one of my teammates' parents was a coach. And he said I need to put together a highlight film. I'm like, for what? I didn't even know any of this. When I played, it was for the love of the game, solely for the love of the game and playing with my friends. I had no idea the process of even getting to college because I didn't have anybody that. My dad played at Southern for a minute, but he was basically a walk on. So going through the scholarship and being recruited was new for everyone. And it wasn't a thought process of mine. It was like it's the thing of for me, you actually skipped college and went to the pro. Man, it'd be great if I could play in the NFL. Not knowing that you had to go through college to get there. As a kid, not as a high school, but as a kid, like, man, I'd like to go to the NFL. You just think of NFL, NFL, NFL. Because in all honesty, we didn't get that many games. Not like we can see every college game in the 80s. So that freed up. There was no stress. There was no pressure. They didn't even think about it. Now these kids, it's just so much. I'll say this. I have a kid now that honestly, when he came out for football, it was like never played really football, organized football. He ain't got a shot. This kid has a college offer. It didn't even consider it at the time. He came off a track, y'all, his freshman year. I don't even remember it. But he stayed with the sport to have fun because those two sports were not his sport. Basketball was supposed to be a sport. We had a small school. It gives you a chance to dabble in all the sports. Tried out football. He tried out for track. And this guy has a track offer and a football offer. I would have lost every single penny that I had saved up because if you would have asked me that as a freshman, I would say it's no fucking way. Now this guy has two offers. And I don't think he ever had the pressure in the thought process of doing it. He just played, he enjoyed the process. That's what it's all about. As a coach now, I have parents worry about, dude, Ricks, no, it's crazy, man. And it's know what's more crazy is that now kids are getting ranked in high school. It doesn't matter. No coach gives a flying, you know what you did as a 12, 13, 14-year-old. All they want to know is what you did your junior, senior year. So who cares if you're the best basketball player in the country and the best sixth grade basketball player? I saw that somewhere. Come on, man. Who cares? Kids are still, especially boys, are still developing. You might be great then because you might have maybe your dad was an ex NBA. I wouldn't say that because then they probably taller. Let's say your dad was a great high school basketball player and had a high IQ, and he's been developing you since a little kid, but he's only 5'8", and your mom is 5'2". So you can dominate at in sixth grade, but are you going to get to a point where in high school where you're going to get close to 6 feet and be able to dominate high school? Who gives up about middle school, y'all? And if you are worried about college scholarship, then I guarantee you as a kid, he feels that or she feels that. It's not just dudes, girls too. I promise you they feel it. I promise you that more than likely those parents are not making the experience enjoyable. I guarantee you when they get home, there's some angst about the game. Well, mom and dad, we won. Well, damn, you only scored 6 points. Or you turned the ball over too many times. Or you didn't jump your best. Or you didn't run your best. Or you didn't run a fast enough time. Or you didn't like all that stuff matters. Middle school athlete parents out there. I'm gonna say this: all athlete parents are out their mind, and this goes to college too. Because I am a big proponent of making changes when it helps you out as a parent and as a kid. But sometimes these changes are made solely for money. And I'm sorry. I don't think that's the way to go for the most part. Now, if the coach you were because I'm gonna say this, I said say this for parents. When you're going on recruiting trips, the most important people is the coach that's coaching your kid and the strength and conditioning coach. Those are the two coaches that your kid is going to spend the most time with. And if you have however they handle their academics, them two. Them are the three people your kid needs to gel with. If you don't gel with them, the head coach don't fucking matter. I'm just being honest. The head coach doesn't matter. The head coach gets his information from your position coach. If you are a guard in basketball and a guy or woman who coaches guards, your kid feels uneasy, don't go there. So just think about things, make high school enjoyable because it's the last time where whatever you're doing, if you're playing sports in college, it's a job. I don't give a damn what anybody says. It's a job. It is a fucking job, especially now when you're getting paid. It's even more of a job. It was a job in the 90s when we were not getting paid. It's a job. You know why? Because there are requirements. And if you don't handle those requirements well, you get your scholarship taken away from you. At least in high school, there's no scholarship. You might be demoted, but you're not going to lose the reason why you're in college. It's a job. There's mandatory workouts. There's times. There's punishments. There's reward. It's a job. And you got to go to class. It's a job. So allow these kids to have fun in the last time where it's not a job. Because when they go, if they're fortunate and blessed enough to play again and rise to the next level, it's even more of a job. So let these damn kids be kids and enjoy it. So one of my middle school quarterbacks ripped by his dad after we won by 40 because he messed up. See, I'm going to say this. See, that's a dad whom probably didn't reach the potential or reach the level that he thought he was going to make it. And now he's living through his kid because there's no reason to rip a kid. It's definitely not in a situation where someone else can see it. Parents need to stop trying to be agents and trainers and be parents. Can't say it any better. I mean, when you're living off of your kid, it's a problem. And I don't there's no other way to say it. Let these kids be kids and enjoy their high school life the same way your ass was able to enjoy your high school life without the pressure from your parents. And if you did have the same pressure that you're giving your kids, shame on you. Because you know how I feel when you was in high school if your parents were drilling you and on your ass about your college exploits or high school exploits. The greatest thing that happened in the 80s and 90s when I played was you had no idea where you were ranked. For us, we had an article. I can't remember. They call it some dozen of 12 the 12 best players or whatever on each side of the ball. That's the only time where you saw a ranking of yourself. Um, so let these kids enjoy it. And I know it's hard for them because even they are online looking at where they stand, where they rank. So you cannot not shield them away from it, but you can't be extra on it because the kid's gonna be extra on themselves, and there's gonna be some bullying online. So don't make it worse on these kids. Just don't. And it's weird that this leads to uh, my last thing, and I saw a quote which is crazy. Oh, this segue is almost fucking perfect. I'm watching a podcast today, and this man said something that hit home. I'm gonna paraphrase it a little bit. And he said that my lane is good enough. And the meaning of that is, in my opinion, is whatever path you're led in. I'm a spiritual sort of religious guy. Whatever plan God leads you in is good enough. Sometimes we get into a situation where the path we pick, the road isn't clear. The path has a lot of obstacles in a way. But if you truly believe and this is your path, it's good enough. We sometimes, and we all do it. Sometimes we look at other people and say, why they're there? Maybe they have a lot of money, driving fancy cars. Maybe their situation seems better, but that's their lane. You don't know how curvy that lane is. It might look straight to you from your perspective, from your range on your path, but you don't know how they laid down their path or created their lane. Maybe that lane isn't made for you. For example, I like teachers. Teachers will never make the money that they should make, ever, at least in this society. But that's their lane. And their lane is good enough. Their value and their currency is different than others. Their ability to change kids' lives, especially in high school, is, as we all know, we should know, that impact is beyond any money. Their lane is good enough. Same thing, whatever you're doing, whatever your goal is, whatever you see your future being is good enough. Stop comparing yourself to others. That's what some of these parents do when their kid is playing. Like, man, whoa, can he be like? Can he be like? I'm trying to think of, like, can he be Carlos Boozer's kid? Can he be whatever the Zion Williams? Can he be whatever Aaron Rodgers? You don't know. Let your kid create his lane and let him know that that's good enough. He doesn't have to be any better than the path that he's leading. And I wholeheartedly believe that. I'll just say this. I play little league football with Warwick Dunn. And you can see where he ended up today. But y'all don't have no idea of the path he had to go through to get to that point. It wasn't for the weak. And big ups to him and his family. They stayed. That lane was good enough. Because I'm telling you, the turmoil he went through as a kid, man, rough. Losing his mom, I can't even imagine. So, everybody has their own lane, man. Stay focused on yours. If you stay focused on yours, I have a whole belief that God's plan is good enough. Will you be as rich as Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos? Probably not. They're going to be as rich as Mark Cuban? Probably not. Are you going to have a fulfilled life if you keep your mind, your thoughts on your path? Yes. And if you don't, you're probably in the wrong lane. You had that fork in the road. Instead of going right, you went left because you want to follow somebody else. You might have to get back on the other lane. So that's all I got, y'all. Thank y'all for joining, listening to little old me. What is it? VStyle17 on Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. If you listen to this or you listen to it for any amount of time, go follow me on TikTok and follow me on Twitter, and Driving with Styles on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube, Driving with Styles. LA Bluegrass on Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram. I appreciate it. And I'm a little short of an hour. Not bad, man. Again, I appreciate y'all. Like, share, comment, retweet, repost, all that good stuff. I'm out, and I'll see y'all next time.